Welcome. It is Tuesday night, and that means it is time for another episode of Southern Discomfort. I am your host with the ghost, the paranormal pastor Ezekiel Kincaid. So thank you for joining us this evening. I am going to make sure that we are good to go on all of our platforms. We are streaming on the PPR channel, the yobaby Blondie channel, my Facebook page, Dustin's Twitter, my Twitter, and my Instagram. So welcome to everyone who is watching on there. Just making sure that we got it all set up. And we are live everywhere. So, hey, PW, thank you for being here. Yes, my assistant PW is here in the house, as always. Going to help me out, back me up. Bethany may or may not be coming on later at some point. I know she had some stuff going on with her little ones tonight, so she's going to try to get on here if she can. And when she does, or if she does, Dustin has made a special intro video just for Bethany. We haven't told her what it is. We just said that she's got one coming. So hopefully y'all will be the first to see it here on Tuesday night if she decides to come. If not, we will for sure be revealing it on Thursday night's show, Immortal Shadows. So we have a special Bethany introduction video that Dustin worked tirelessly on for her so that she could have her own little introduction every time before I pop her up here on the screen. And she's been bothering me about what it is and asking me to tell her. And I have not said anything, Dustin, not even a hint as to what this particular video is about. So hopefully she'll come on later and we can all watch her reaction to the video. Those of you who have been keeping up with Tuesday nights know that we are going through the Necronomicon. Hey, Stacey. Welcome to the chat. Glad that you were here tonight to join us on our journey into the 13 gates of the Necronomicon. Tonight, we are just going to be focusing on the 9th gate because it is actually one of the coolest ones, and I wanted to spend some time on it and what it has. So we're going to take a journey through the 9th gate, and then next week, we'll do 10 and 11, and then the week after that, we will wrap it up with 12 and 13, and we will be done with our study on the 13 gates of the Necronomicon. But we are going to wait a little bit. We always like to hang out here, give everybody a chance to come into the chat and tell us hello. There's Dustin popping in there. I did a build up to the video, Dustin. So hopefully she will come on here tonight and we will get to reveal the epic video for your viewing pleasure and also to get a rise out of Bethany, because you know we thrive on that here on this show. And getting her all riled up. Hey, BZ Collecting, thank you for hopping on with us tonight. We are so glad that you are here. And Dustin, you going back and forth on your camo wiggler and the PPR one. Dustin got two going. Look at you. He's multitasking. Now, Thursday night on our Immortal Shadows, we're going to be continuing our study on the book of Revelation, and we are still on the trumpets. And for those of you who missed out, all right, on the Thursday night show, and it's not much different than what we do on the Tuesday night show when it comes to annoying Bethany and getting under her skin. When we were going through the seals of Revelation, I made a joke about the seals being actual seals on a document and not the animal that barks on the beach. Well, she thought that was terrible, a terrible joke. So we ended up making a whole run of pictures about it with seals preaching, seals singing in heaven, all that fun stuff. Well, we found something else to annoy her about now that we are in the 7 trumpets. Dustin found this absolutely obnoxious trumpet sound that we will be playing on the show Thursday night. And it may be other places. It may be popping up other places as well. So you'll just kind of have to wait and see. But please come join us Thursday night as we go through the book of Revelation. Also, a couple other announcements. I mentioned to y'all the season 2 of my Southern Discomfort series, which not just the show, but also a monthly story release that I do exclusively for Godless. Bud Files, welcome. Glad you were here to hang out with us on this beautiful Tuesday night. And I had mentioned that season 2 for the Southern Discomfort series is kicking off this January. And this was the first one, Bitch Bear. This one dropped January 7th. So it is available now on Godless for only 50 cents for your reading pleasure. And this story, as I told y'all last time, was inspired by Bethany and her teddy bear that she had when she was a kid. And I also told y'all, if you want to see what Bethany was like as a child, you need to read this story about a little girl who goes and makes a Build-A-Bear for her 10th birthday. And this Build-A-Bear that she creates has a massive taste for blood. So this is a very fun horror story, and you can get that on Godless for only 50 cents. I'm going to throw the link up in the chat. Here for y'all. This is the link if anybody wants to go on there and grab Bitch Bear for only 50 cents. Southern Discomfort Season 2, Issue 1. We're kicking it off with Little Furry Nightmares. So y'all are going to love this gruesome creation of mine. And the other thing, I know a lot of you don't like to do digital. I am working on getting a print copy of Southern Discomfort Season 1 put together. And once I have that print copy put together, it will be available on Amazon for you to buy. We are going to do an omnibus collection of each season after they are done. So Season 1, the complete collection, will be coming out very soon. I will keep y'all updated on that. But everybody in chat, how are y'all doing tonight? Did everybody have a good weekend? Anybody involved in the storms, I hope y'all stayed safe. We didn't end up getting much down here where I was in Baton Rouge, but I know other places were hit hard, and I know more places up the East Coast were hit as well today. So we hope everybody is okay and staying safe. Yeah, it was windy, PW. Yeah, it was windy here, but nothing too terrible. So we got out pretty good on it. BZ, all right, y'all had rain and wind. Hey, Lunar Eclipse Paranormal, welcome to the chat. We are glad that you are with us tonight. Thank you for coming to hang out. My weekend was, Cece, thank you for asking. My weekend was an epic letdown. And I will tell y'all why. I mentioned on the show how I don't remember if it was last week or the week before that I was going to the Fan Expo in New Orleans this weekend to meet Bruce Campbell. And I did. I went on Sunday, and that old adage is true. Never meet your heroes. Bruce was a complete jerk. Totally acted like he was annoyed to be even in the same space that I was taking up his oxygen. And he definitely did not want copies of Johnny Walker Ranger that I had for him. But he was cool at first when I went and did the photo op with him. It was great, and then I went up there to get his autograph, and it was like a switch had flipped. So very disappointing. Not a good encounter. So this weekend, Bruce Campbell lost a lifelong fan in me just for being a douchebag. So that was how my weekend went. And, you know, Dustin knows and Bethany too. Like, I mean, I've been a Bruce Campbell fan since I was 13, 14 years old. So for the past 30 years. So just if anybody ever has the chance to meet him at a con or that, just be aware. I'm not saying don't go see him. Just be aware that it might not go well, and he might be a jerk and treat you like you're the most obnoxious person in the world. And I mean, not considering we paid money to get his autograph. So anyway, my weekend was a letdown in that factor. But anyway, you live and learn, right? I think from this point out, any other favorite actors and people like that I have, I will just not go and meet them so that I can continue to enjoy their movies. PW, the news of Lovecraft. Are you talking about the new Lovecraft movie that's coming out, PW? Yeah, it did suck, PW, and it does bite, Dustin, but you live and learn. Yep, there is a new movie coming out that is based off some of the writings of Lovecraft. PW, what's the name of that again? The name of that film that's coming out this year? Go ahead and pop it in there in the chat, because I'm drawing a blank now. But it's fitting, since we've been talking so much about Lovecraft, that this film is coming out. And I'm definitely going to go see it, because I'm a huge fan of Lovecraft's writings, and also a lot of the movies out there that have been done on his work. Okay, PW, thank you. As soon as you put that in the chat, I will mention it up here. And you can also post links, PW, so maybe post the trailer for that movie as well, so everybody can go see it, because it looks pretty cool. I just can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, because PW had sent it to me last week and showed it to me, and I was like, oh, this is great, perfect, especially in light of what we are doing right now in this series. But once she gets back and mentions the name of that movie, we're going to go ahead and get the ball rolling and talk about the ninth gate of the Necronomicon. This has been a very fun series for me to do personally. Like I said, a huge fan of Lovecraft. I cut my teeth in reading horror on Stephen King and H.P. Lovecraft and Edgar Allan Poe. So being able to go back and do a series on H.P. Lovecraft and the Necronomicon is just like a dream come true for me. And I usually go back every year and constantly read stories of Lovecraft. So he's always in my reading cycle. Now, if none of you have read Lovecraft before and you're used to modern books, it's going to be jarring for you. It's written in a very different style, normal for that time period in the early 1900s. But expect everything pretty much written from a first-person perspective, and very little dialogue in it at all. So if you like a lot of dialogue in your book and not just running commentary from a first-person point of view, then it may be a little difficult for you to follow along. However, if you can get past that, the stories are absolutely brilliant. Oh, yeah, how could I forget that? It's Call of Cthulhu. I don't know how I could have forgotten that, but yes, that is it. PW, a new one coming out of H.P. Lovecraft this year, so check that out. At the end of the series, when we wrap up the 13th gate, I will go over, I've been throwing some stories around here and there. I'm going to mention some more stories tonight, but we'll give you some stories to start off with Lovecraft. Also, I know we've talked about some of his movies, but we'll go over that again, some exceptional adaptation of Lovecraft's work into movies, if you want to get started on that path of reading him and enjoying him. Yes, James Wan is directing it. Those of you who aren't familiar with directors, James Wan is the one who did Saw. He is the one who was involved with Insidious, and also the Conjuring films and the Conjuring universe. I know he's also done some superhero movies as well. So he's a very accomplished director, extremely gifted in directing horror films. So I cannot wait to see what he does with this adaptation of Lovecraft. Hey, Crossover, welcome to the chat. Glad that you are here with us and hanging out. Thank you for joining us. So with that said, if everyone is ready, we will go ahead and get into the ninth gate of the Necronomicon of H.P. Lovecraft. Just scrolling through, make sure I did not miss saying hello to anybody. All right. I think I got everybody. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and get into the ninth astral gate. Now, this ninth gate, its astral sign is Leo, Leo the lion for the ninth gate. And as I've said in the episodes in the past, each of these astral gates have certain rituals and keys and things that can be done to unlock them out of respect of people who believe in the power of the Necronomicon, and that this is not just a fictional work of Lovecraft. We're not giving that out. That can be found through different research, different books on your own. Hey, Christina, welcome. Glad that you're here hanging out with us. Thank you for stopping by. So we're not giving those keys out. Those can be found in your own research. Our goal in this is simply to talk about H.P. Lovecraft, talk about the Necronomicon, and what is unlocked in these 13 astral gates and what is supposedly can be experienced. Now, the ninth gate, and the reason I saved the ninth gate to do it by itself is because this is the crux of Lovecraftian writing. When you unlock the ninth gate, supposedly you are to be able to have access and read in the astral world all of the forbidden documents that are in the writings of H.P. Lovecraft, including the Necronomicon. So we're going to look at some of those books tonight, some of this forbidden literature, and talk about what Lovecraft says they contain, and how he handled using this type of stuff in his writings. And I'm going to say some things about Lovecraft tonight. If you've read his writings before, that may come as a shock and a surprise to you. So we hope everybody hangs around for about the next 20-30 minutes as we talk about the ninth gate here. The Necronomicon mythos and everything that's found in the writings of Lovecraft always conveys this idea that there is some sort of forgotten and secret information that needs to be uncovered. And the secret information has to do from things way in the ancient past, with the alien races and the old ones and the gods before humans ever evolved on planet Earth. And these forbidden books and this forbidden knowledge kind of is meant to build a bridge across time that can span a few weeks or a few months. In the case of certain diaries that are found, forbidden diaries and things that are written down in Lovecraft's writing, some of these diaries only span like a small period of time in Lovecraft's writings, but and then you got stuff that goes as far back as millions and millions of years of this ancient history that has been covered up. Like I said, stuff that deals with the alien races that predated humanity. So these forbidden books, these secret journals that hold the secret knowledge, they are absolutely crucial to Lovecraft's mythology and what goes on in his writings. They are the crux and the foundation and the things a lot of these stories center around. It's how the humans come in contact with these races, with these gods, with these demons that are hidden in the astral plane, and that they are the thing about Lovecraft, we've said in the past, all these things are hidden in plain sight. They are all around us. And it's tapping into this knowledge in Lovecraft's characters that they're able to see these things. Hey, Mariah, welcome to the chat. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us as we're talking about the ninth gate of the Necronomicon. We're really glad that you're here with us. So within these writings in Lovecraft, there's certain books that these stories portray that, number one, they should not exist at all. And if they do, they should absolutely never, ever, ever be read. However, right, if you're going to have a great horror story, and I know this as a horror writer, if there is a forbidden book that is not supposed to be read, guess what's going to happen with one of your characters? That's right. They are going to read the book. They are going to do what they are not supposed to do, because that is what makes good horror. The curiosity of humanity is something that is always played upon, especially in horror and in Lovecraft, because reading these books in the Lovecraft canon, these books, they lead to insanity. They lead to death, and they lead to madness with a lot of these characters. But you'll see throughout his writings, these books, these black and forbidden books, they are also treasured by certain individuals in his stories, and they are drawn to this forbidden material like a moth to flame. It is that morbid curiosity that lies within all of us. It's that part of that morbid curiosity as to why we all turn our heads when we're driving by a wreck or a car crash. There's something in us that is drawn to it. And it's the same thing with these forbidden books and the people in Lovecraft, that they are drawn like a moth to a flame to these books. And there's all kinds of stuff. There's fragments of different books. There's complete manuscripts. There's diaries. There's journals. All of that can be found in the writings of Lovecraft. Now, there is a section here out of something of Lovecraft that I want to read you. And this is just like this scene typifies everything that there is to say about the characters in Lovecraft's book, and his stories, and their allure to these forbidden books. All right, this man, then the scene that I'm going to read you, he is in this secondhand bookstore, and he recognizes something that is very forbidden. And the owner of the bookstore, who's very kind of sinister, is only too happy to part with it and give it to this guy for no payment. Here is something from a story fragment that was discovered by out of Lovecraft's writing. It's a story fragment from a portion of one of his stories called The Book, that was written in 1935. Lovecraft writes, "There was a formula, a sort of list of things to say and do, which I recognized as something black and forbidden, something which I had read before in future paragraphs, of mixed abhorrences and fascination penned by those strange ancient delvers into the universe's guarded secrets, whose decaying text I love to absorb. It was a key, a guide to certain gateways and transitions of which mystics have dreamed and whispered since the race was young, and which led to freedoms and discoveries beyond the three dimensions and realms of life and matter that we know. Not for centuries had any man recalled its vital substance or known where to find it, but this book was very old indeed. See this atmosphere of finding this forbidden book in a secondhand bookstore, and the allure of it. This is kind of the ambiance that is around all of these books in Lovecraft's writing, and these scenes mimic this kind of curiosity that is there. Now, talking about the Necronomicon, because we are going to get in the role that it plays. It is kind of the central mystical book in Lovecraft's writings, supposedly written by the mad Arab Alhazred. It was his work, and it is this idea of the Necronomicon being this black and forbidden magic, and it contains these guarded secrets in these dimensional portals. That is the draw to it for Lovecraft's character. And Lovecraft, and we'll talk about it, dreamed up the Necronomicon, right? He didn't just sit down and think it up and create it himself. It came to him in a dream, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as when we get to the section that will actually talk about the Necronomicon. But a lot of these things, Lovecraft, he was a very vivid dreamer. We've talked about that in the past, and a lot of his stories, a lot of the creatures, a lot of these books come from his dreams, especially the Necronomicon. Now, when we go through his writing, I'm gonna pause here before we get into this, and I'm just gonna make my way into the chat for a minute. See if anybody maybe had any questions or any new people popped in. Yeah, Lunar, I've always said that there's a lot of real in all the horror movies and books. Yeah, I can see some truth of that as a horror writer, that there certainly is. Okay, here we go, y'all. I see Bethany down in the basement, so it's the perfect time to bring her up here while I'm taking a break before we switch topics. Bethany, I have your intro video here before I bring you up, baby. So I hope you're watching. Everybody in chat, the beautiful Queen Bethany is about to come on, and we have this magnificent intro video that Dustin has done for her. So here we go, introducing now my lovely co-host, also known as Burn It Beth. It is our lovely clown-loving Bethany.
Bethany. Hello, Bethany. Say hi to the viewers. Here you go. Enjoy the show.
I hate you, and I hate Dustin and everything that both of you stand for. That was both creepy and hilarious at the same time. The way he
Welcome
did
to
that
the show.
clown thing. What?
What? I said, welcome to the show, baby.
The horns! Oh God! Like you couldn't. I would have rather listened to a truck backing up.
Yep. Those are the trumpets. We will be playing those on Thursday night, all for Bethany.
Come on, like you're making me sound like the new 1991 Pentium processor. Like, oh, but that clown thing. Like, I swear, only Dustin could take something really annoying and a nightmare and then blend it.
Well done, Dustin. That's what I've been sitting on for the past few days and not telling you about. Keeping it secret.
You're both asking for shaved eyebrows and gorilla glued on acrylic nails. Just saying. Hello, Cece.
So you like your video then?
No, I mean, like, no. Who would? No.
That means yes, Dustin. 2 thumbs up. She does not like it. That means we won. We have accomplished.
The passion pit from hell. Like, the only passionate thing I feel about that freaking RV is hatred.
Yeah, that was everything Bethany loves in.
No,
that
it's
video.
not. No, it's not. And I hate clowns. The way he made that thing move in the voice, just ugh.
Yeah, everything in there she loves, except for me. I wasn't in there, but you got the dancing clowns, you've got the RV, you've got the trumpet music, and then you've got Dustin's creepy voice.
Pretty much, Dustin. I applaud Dustin. He pretty much put a visual to chewing on tinfoil.
Good job, Dustin.
Ugh.
Success, sir. Double hot
Hello,
five.
my darling PW. I will. I will let you know, PW.
Success.
I hate those horns.
What horns?
Don't play it. Please don't play it. You know what I'm talking about, those horns. Please don't play it. Get on with the show. What have you been talking about up until now?
You mean?
No. Turn it off. Just don't even turn it on. Just let's move along. What are you guys talking about?
I was talking about the ninth gate of the Necronomicon. We were getting into Lovecraft and his use of mysterious documents, and we're about to hit some of those documents here in just a minute.
Okay, well let's move on with that.
Okay, PW wants to see my unicorn, and Dustin said he's got another one.
Oh God, no!
You said they couldn't possibly be worse. You know that is the wrong thing to say to us on this show. Because
yes, I've seen the houses that are nothing but piles of cockroaches and termites. I have seen the tetanus waiting monstrosities of those RVs.
Because why, Dustin? We can always make it worse. Always.
That is not something you want to be proud of.
Well, it is. It most certainly is.
Lord. And
PW wanted me to show this picture. This is Zeke from an alternate reality. If I the same age I am now, but different reality, and I lived in my mother's basement and played World of Warcraft all day long.
No, just adorable and chubby. I think you're cute.
There I am. You know, Dustin, Bethany said she was actually going to buy me a plush unicorn.
I was, and you don't want to know what he told me he was going to do to that. It was mean. I ended up just telling him, you could have just said no. You didn't have to threaten to annihilate it and torture it like some kind of psychopath.
Yeah, I told her what I was going to do is soak it in gasoline, then take like a stick or a broom handle and ram it up its butt, and then set it on fire, and I would have a unitorch, and I would walk around in my yard in tribal gear, waving it around, screaming "Ooga Booga." So she refuses to get me one now because I'll do that.
You're mean. They're cute. You just don't like anything cute and happy.
Do I look like a cute and happy kind of like that would be my
Actually,
jam?
with the hair and the beard and the background stuff, it does kind of look like you would have cute and happy, but in a really weird, messed up way, like in a room that hasn't been dusted in 15 years.
Yeah, and like dolls with like nails through their heads.
No, it wouldn't be that obvious, but it would be like, it would be more like a room full of dolls where you look, the dolls' eyes are all shut, but then you look back again and all the eyes are open. And then you look again and the dolls are all staring directly at you. That's more you.
Yeah. No, PW, I don't have unicornophobia. Actually, if I had a mean unicorn, a rabid unicorn, I would ride it. And I would be teaching that thing to ram things with its horn and do total mass chaos and destruction. Teaching that thing to harpoon people that I didn't like and shish
Anybody
kebab.
in chat, when you look at Zeke, does anybody else look at him and think that he reminds you of a little puppy that thinks that it's really big and bad and aggressive, and the worst it can do is poop in your shoes?
Boo Bear, you've seen me in action.
Okay, good point.
Do you want me to relay some stories?
No, dear God, no. Just don't.
Okay. But yes,
this is true. You just you nuke everything from space. There's no lead up. There's no let's gently go into this.
No. So PW, I would take a mean unicorn.
Let's take anything mean.
A mean one that would want to stab people. I would ride it. So I would definitely, if this unicorn right here that Dustin put me on, if it were mean, I don't care if it looked like that. As long as if it were mean, I don't care if his horn looks like a candy cane from God knows what little kid show.
Actually, it looks like one of those swirling candy cane lollipops that were popular in the 90s, but they were different, cherry flavored or bubblegum flavored.
Yeah. I would be good with it if my unicorn was mean. I'd be all for that.
Why do you want something mean?
It's got a horn on its head. You realize how much damage it can do? It needs to be mean. The mass destruction. So.
Well, how do you know that it doesn't poop glitter?
I don't care what it poops, as long as it will stab people with its horn. I don't care. It can poop swirly ice cream.
I like glitter better.
Whatever. It can poop whatever it wants to poop, as long as it stabs people with its horn.
I think if it poops glitter in sequins.
Okay, that's fine. Then we can make arts and crafts out of its crap.
All right.
PW said, as long as it's not Edward Cullen, the glitter vampire.
Oh, Lord.
Very funny. Good one, PW.
And here's the thing, okay, because I once, years ago, somebody had they're a fan of the Twilight series, and I respect that. You're allowed to like what you like, and that's fine. Myself, personally, I did try to read the book, and I did power through it, and I also watched the movie. Did not like it at all whatsoever, but people are allowed to like what they want to like.
Yep. Hey, Transparent Illusions, welcome to the chat. Thank you for coming to hang out with us over from Mayhem and Miracles from Mayhem's channel. Thank you. Dustin, that was another thing I used to pick on Bethany about. She told me she hated the Twilight movies, so I went on a binge about that.
I
So,
don't like them. And to me, that does give me carte blanche. I'm allowed to say I hate them and I don't like them because I did try them.
So maybe we should do something with Bethany too with the Twilight vampires.
No, I don't like them. I did not like the book. The only thing that I will say about the book and why I thought it was popular is because it was just easily marketable. Like you could project and put anybody in that role. But
Now,
I didn't like it.
And you don't learn your lesson about telling us what you don't like on this show, do you?
I walked right into that. It's like the freaking horns.
Dustin, let's work on some Twilight stuff.
No, God, no, please.
Yep.
Anything but that. I will even take the cockroach-infested RVs at this point.
Now, we've got some new people in chat that have not seen your intro video. And Dustin, yes, I am going to show them Bethany's intro video. So everybody who's new in chat, this is everything Bethany loves.
No, it's not. It's everything I hate.
In her intro video, which will be played whenever she's late, before she comes on the show, I'm going to play this for her.
I hate this video.
I love it.
Of course you do.
Of course I do. All right. Here we go.
Bethany. Hello, Bethany. Say hi to viewers. Here you go. Enjoy the show.
It just gets worse. The more you play it, it's both lame and creepy as all hell.
No, that is perfection.
No, it's not. It's awful. And it's not true. Again, that the horns are so lame.
The horns, we're going to be playing the trumpet sounds every show now, especially on Thursday night in the Book of Revelation, since we're talking about the 7 trumpets.
You couldn't pick any other trumpet sound to make it sound cool, to make it sound powerful. No, you had to pick the lamest, wimpiest sounding horns.
Yep, all for you. Yes, Transparent Illusion, I got some candy for you. Hiya, Georgie.
And that's the other thing, the creepy clown. Like, even to just look at them and just think about Dustin doing that voice, just, ugh. It's like cold air on my neck, just, ugh.
Well, we're going to be playing it and playing it and playing it until you can't get it out of your mind and you're dreaming about it. Everything you love in one video.
Hey, I didn't know that Transparent said save the cockroaches for my tarantula, please. For some reason, I didn't think that tarantulas ate cockroaches.
I don't know. I used to have a tarantula for like 25 years. They do. They'll eat bugs and.
Yeah, actually, to be fair, that was, I think, one of the few pets that you had that your mom really liked.
Yeah. Yep. They live a long time too. Great pets. Dustin, we should get Vickie a tarantula for next Christmas since she likes spiders so much. Dustin said check your Twitter messages.
I will. Don't do that to poor Vickie. You do, and you will deserve if she lights a room on fire with you two locked inside of it.
Yeah, we're going to have everybody wanting to set us on fire, Dustin.
It wouldn't be the two of you without just really aggravating somebody. All right, are we going to get back on track with the Necronomicon?
Yep, let's get back to the Necronomicon. All right, we had had our little fun break, and we are glad that Bethany is here with her new intro video and everything. But let's get back to the Necronomicon. And before we took our break, I was getting ready to talk about the different types of books that you see in Lovecraft's writing. They are prominent in his mythos. Like we said, all of his stories and the plot hinge around these type of books. First of all, you see there's a lot of them that are grimoires. There's books of magic and rituals and chants, and these certain documents serve the purpose of opening occult doorways and having communion with all of the inhuman creatures that are scattered throughout Lovecraft's writings, especially the old ones. And then these ancient histories that tell of lost civilizations. That is another thing that you will see that are supposedly written by certain great races. For example, the great race of Yith supposedly wrote something, some chapters in the tongue twister, Necrotonic manuscripts, and we're going to talk about what those are here in just a minute. There are also different types of diaries that are dispersed throughout Lovecraft's writings as well. Now, one of the things that Lovecraft did is he mingled real historical documents with made-up ones. And to make matters even worse, the real documents that he said in his writings that really existed, he didn't tell what was really in them. He just made up stuff that was supposedly in them. So this drove Lovecraft scholars absolutely crazy in the early days when they were trying to decipher all of this stuff, but absolutely brilliant on Lovecraft's part. Now, here is something that a lot of people do not know about Lovecraft. When you read his stuff, you think as you're reading, like, holy cow, this guy has so much knowledge of ancient documents. He has so much knowledge on the occult, and it seems like he is an expert on esoteric and spiritual topics and esoteric and spiritual writings. However, nothing could be further from the truth. Lovecraft was more of a naturalist. He didn't buy into any of that, any sort of spiritualism, any sort of occultism. What Lovecraft was an expert in, we talked about astronomy. He loved that. But he also liked architecture. He liked genealogy. He loved history. These were the things that Lovecraft was an expert in, not in the sciences, not anything when it comes to religion, spirituality, or the occult. He had minuscule knowledge on those things, so much so that one of the things that he did, a lot of these names that of the books, he just went into the 9th edition of the Encyclopedia Britannica and just pulled out words. And he wrote in a letter to one of his friends that he was so scared that people were going to catch on and find out that he was just pulling random words out of an encyclopedia, because he didn't really have much of a knowledge on occult matters. However, as we mentioned last week, you do see some influence of Madame Blavatsky and Theosophy, or Theosophy, however you want to pronounce it. he did have a little bit of knowledge of that, and he had read some things and knew about the lost continents of Atlantis, and he was aware. Okay, a lot of people think that he and Aleister Crowley were tight, or that his wife knew Aleister Crowley. That wasn't true. He was aware of Mr. Crowley, and his wife probably knew people in that circle, but neither. And if you remember, he wasn't married to his wife very long, but neither Lovecraft nor his wife actually knew Aleister Crowley. Now, he was aware of all of Crowley's occult organizations. He knew about the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn that was operating under the leadership of MacGregor Mather's widow at that time. Like I said, he knew of Madame Blavatsky and her success and the popularity. He also knew about Houdini and some of the stuff that he was involved in. And he actually started to take an interest in some of Harry Houdini's stuff. And Harry Houdini had certain books planned that he was going to write on the occult. And kind of later on in his life, Lovecraft took more of an interest in this. And, if Lovecraft would have lived 20 years longer, he may have greatly increased in his knowledge of the occult and spiritualism and things like that. But as it stands, he was not the expert that you think he was, or that it comes out like he would be in his writings. So, interesting fact. Did you know that, Boo Bear?
What exactly?
That he was nothing close to an expert in spiritualism and the occult.
Yes, I knew that.
Okay, just checking.
We've talked about that in private many times.
Yeah. I know, but a lot of people are not aware of that, so it's definitely something to point out. However, which shows how brilliant of a writer he was, because the way he writes and it's presented, you think that he has all this stuff, but so much of it he just either made up, like pulled out of the Encyclopedia Britannica, or it came to him in his dreams. Now that we have given a little bit of the history of Lovecraft and his background, and that the Ninth Gate is about these books, I want to go over a few of the books that are of great importance in the writing of Lovecraft. We'll talk about a few of these, and then the last one we'll talk about in this is the actual Necronomicon itself. We'll go through them in alphabetical order that I have them listed here. So it's not order of importance necessarily as it is. I just put them in alphabetical order, but I am going to kind of skip and then go back to the Necronomicon. But the first one I want to mention is Al-Azif. Now, Al-Azif was a book that was the Arabic title of the Necronomicon. And the title here in Arabic, Lovecraft says, supposedly signifies the night noises of the desert insects that the Bedouins used to hear at night. And the Bedouins said that these noises sounded like the howlings of demons. And so in his story, The History of the Necronomicon, Lovecraft says, unfortunately, none of the original Arabic manuscripts exist of this book, but it is mentioned in The History of the Necronomicon. So looking at the Necronomicon, when we get to it, know that it is a translation, and its original name is not the Necronomicon. It is the Al-Azif, and it was originally written in Arabic, which I know y'all probably knew that because it was Al-Ahazarad, the mad Arab that supposedly wrote it down. The next book that I want to mention comes from The Dreams in the Witch House. Have you read that story, Bethany?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Okay, now there is an excellent adaptation of it. Do you remember, Bethany, the collection that was done back early 2000s, maybe later towards 2010, Masters of Horror, where they got all the cool horror directors to make like a 45-minute, hour-long episode?
Yes.
Okay, there is an adaptation of Lovecraft's the Dreams in the Witch House, which is really cool. So if y'all can find the Masters of Horror series, I think it is still on Tubi. Go on there and watch Dreams from in the Witch House. It's really cool. Oh, look, Transparent Illusion says he feeds his tarantulas crickets, so he hears those little pricks all night. Yeah, just all night long, chirping. Demons, according to the Bedouins. The demons of the desert sound like that. So we should just dump some crickets in your room, Bethany.
Actually, on a real note, no, because crickets will do damage to fabrics.
Yes, I know. I've worked in pest control, baby. I would actually never do anything that mean to you.
You do.
Only fun, never harm.
Like I said, I mean, you are really asking to fall asleep with me, and one day you're going to wake up and you will have legitimate clown hair.
I'll put crickets down your pants. You do that.
Those things are destructive. I mean, and the crappy thing is they are technically bad luck to kill in a house, but they do a lot of damage.
Yeah. Just gather them up and ship them to Transparent Illusion. So
there we go. We will gather them up so you can feed a spider, fatten it up.
Yeah, and then like we can have so many crickets for him. He has just like a symphony of crickets going on at night in his house.
Yeah, so, well, that won't get annoying fast. Let's put her trumpet sound in a horn system in her car. No!
Yeah.
And by the way, that video, Dustin, is terrifying.
Oh, yeah. Transparent Illusion. I said I put crickets down your pants. He said crotch crickets. He's dying laughing.
Yeah, very funny. Crotch crickets.
Yeah, she got a bad case of them crotch crickets.
Oh, Lord.
It sounds like a disease a hooker has.
Yeah, it's a backwoods water one that you would write about in a trailer park.
Oh, yeah. That's Southern Fried Horror from Ezekiel Kincaid. Where was I? Okay. Dreams in the Witch House. So it was telling you about the adaptation. There is a book that is mentioned in this story called The Book of Azathoth. And this is one that is like this center of ultimate chaos. There is all kinds of secret witch powers that are unlocked from reading this book. There's all kinds of blood rituals. There's all kind of satanic rituals in this particular book. And so it comes into play in that story. So speaking of good places to start with Lovecraft, The Dreams in the Witch House is one of the great stories of his, and that is a good one to start with. Read it and watch that segment on Tubi. Hold on. My daughter's texting me. Good night. Love you. The next book that we will mention. Let me see if I wrote down where this one is found at. This next one I'm going to mention is found in The Haunter of the Dark and The Diary of Alonzo Typer. Been a while since I have read those, but they are good ones, but not really one that you would want to start with. So the book that is mentioned in there is called The Book of Dizyan, Dzyan. And this is a supposed ancient text that was written in a secret language. And it is mentioned by Lovecraft in several places, those two stories that I mentioned. And Madame Blavatsky, the founder of the Theosophical Society, those of you who don't know much about her, she was an accomplished trance medium. And she claimed to have a real part in this book, and published a fragment at the beginning of one of her books in 1888, her work, The Secret Doctrine, which I read that. I read that entire book, The Secret Doctrine, back in, it's been a while. It's been about 15 or 20 years since I last read it. And so these stanzas of Dizyan, they are in the form of 7 brief chapters with numbered paragraph. Most of them consist only of a single sentence or so. So it's really, really short. So this is supposedly a real historical book that Lovecraft incorporated into his stories. So that is something that is worth mentioning because, as I told you, he did have knowledge of her and her ways and her teachings. So it only makes sense that he would bring something of hers into several of his writings. So that's why I wanted to bring this one up, because of his connection with her, and to show you that it did leak into a couple of those stories. And there's more about that goes into his study of that book, but just suffice for what we're talking about to know that he was familiar with it, and he did include it in his stories, The Haunter of the Dark and The Diary of Alonzo Typer. Another book that Lovecraft mentions that is pretty cool is the Book of Thoth. That's Thoth. And this, I want to read you a line from the Necronomicon, all right, that kind of plays into what this book is about. The Necronomicon says of those who have dared to seek glimpses beyond the veil and to accept him as a guide, they would have been more prudent had they avoided commerce with him. For it is written in the Book of Thoth, how terrific is the price of a single glimpse. So the guide here that the Necronomicon is referring to is Umir at Tawil, and he is the most ancient one, or the one that is called the prolonged life. And this god Thoth was an Egyptian god of wisdom, and he and the scribe who recorded the results of the weighing of the heart of the newly dead to determine their worth. And he's pictured with the head of an ibis and writing on a clay or wax tablet with a reed pen. Now, for those of you who do not know what an ibis is, I'm going to show you a picture. Bethany, do you know what an ibis is?
It will probably ring a bell when you show the picture.
It is not what you think, because when I read this, I was like, that is odd. Out of all of the things to pick, an ibis. Now, I'm going to show you a scarlet ibis, but they do come in different colors. I just thought this was a very cool picture. That is an ibis. It is a bird with a long beak. So that is what the head is pictured as. Very interesting. Now, the Greeks, when they eventually came to rule over Egypt, they created a hybrid god known as Thoth Hermes, and they attributed to this god many occult secrets, which were supposedly recorded in all of these numerous books. The best of these are what we know as Hermetica. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But all of this about Thoth is found in Lovecraft's story, Through the Gates of the Silver Key, which is a very interesting story. Odd story, like most of his stuff. All right. There are a couple more I want to mention. Maybe. Okay. I'm going to mention this one. This is the last one I'll do before we get into the Necronomicon, because I know that we have a lot of witches that watch this, so y'all will appreciate this one. This one is called the Liber Damnatus. Liber Damnatus. And this was a grimoire mentioned by the necromancer Joseph Curwen to a letter to Simon Orne, written on the 1st of May in 1750. And the reference concerns instruction given to evoke the Old One. All right, Yog Sothoth. All right, so this is all fictional. All right, this letter's not real. This is all in Lovecraft's work. And so instructions given to evoke the Old One, Yog Sothoth, and the details to the ritual work intended to do all these things. He gives them all the stuff, and a clavicle key is needed in order to do some of these things. And what's instructed is that they're supposed to take a clavicle key, and with the sun in the 5th astrological house and Saturn in the trine aspect with the sun, Curwen is to draw a pentagram of elemental fire. Now, this is not a blazing pentagram. For those of you who are not familiar with how pentagrams are used in rituals, going all the way back to the Order of the Golden Dawn, There are banishing ways to draw pentagrams, and there are invoking ways. And each pentagram, whether you are doing it to banish or invoke, or if you're doing it for the elements or spirit, they are all to be drawn in a different way. And I'm going to show you a picture to see what I mean. It all depends on where you start drawing the pentacle as to what you are seeking to do. So because Lovecraft did not have a lot of knowledge in the occult, we do not know if this elemental pentagram of fire, you see it there in the middle, I'd imagine it's probably invoking and not banishing, since they are trying to summon this thing. But if you see there, the one for fire for invoking, that is how he was supposed to start and draw this particular pentagram. So that is what he means when he says he is to draw a pentagram of fire. It is not a blazing pentagram. It is one to be drawn for the element of fire and for invoking. So that's what we have going on here in this particular work that is mentioned here. So I put that one in there because it's, again, I know we have a lot of people with that background. And also, it serves as a teaching moment for those of you who are not familiar with the ways in which pentagrams are used in certain practices. So there you go. All right. Now, let us speak of the Necronomicon. You ready? You ready, Bethany?
Go for it.
Okay. The Necronomicon. This is the very center of Lovecraft's fiction. This is the ultimate book in all of his writing. It weaves 4 threads of mythos, of Lovecraft mythos, together in one book. So the Necronomicon for Lovecraft included things involving gods and monsters from beyond the earth. It included stuff about dreamlands, and it included stories about witchcraft and black magic and things about decay and death and degeneration. All of that is supposedly found in the Necronomicon. Yes, Transparent Illusion. We actually talked about the use of the Necronomicon in the Evil Dead movies. So I think that was very early on in the series that we mentioned that and talked about how they were used in the different Evil Dead movies. So yep, you are spot on with that. That's what the Necronomicon, that's what happened. It was read and it began to bring the dead back to life through these demons possessing these people. So Lovecraft, he did not sit down and just make up the Necronomicon. He reports that he dreamed of this book. He says the title of it came to him in a dream, as did the image of this book. And it wasn't just once. He is recorded to have repeatedly had dreams about the Necronomicon and dreams about the power of this forbidden book and this mysterious title that he dreamed up. He didn't really understand what his dreams meant, why he was dreaming of this book. why it was called the Necronomicon. But he begins to weave it into his fiction, and he begins to start working out a mythos for it as he writes his stories. Now, the manner in which the Necronomicon appears in these writings really gives us some insight into his fiction, of how everything centers around the dream world and nightmares for Lovecraft. His writings, all right, he was plagued with nightmares all the times, and his writing about them were a way for him to try to get this out of his system and deal with it, because these nightmares really shook him to his core. And so writing for Lovecraft was a kind of a cathartic way for him to deal with the nightmare. So these dreams of the Necronomicon, he started to write them, and he started to come up with a particular history for how this book was developed. Now, he writes a detailed fictional account of the history of the book. Now, we've already talked about it being penned by Abdul Alhazarad in Damascus prior to the year 738. We've mentioned that in the past. It was originally written in Arabic. So Lovecraft gives that in the history of the Necronomicon and gives the date when it was supposedly written. Now, we all know, because we've talked about it from the fiction, that the reason Alhazarad is called the Mad Arab is because he went mad. He went insane writing this book. Supposedly, it's never really revealed. Lovecraft never really comes out and says that this was the particular reason that he went mad, but it's just kind of assumed that Alhazarad's writing of the Necronomicon is what made him unhinged. And this is where the legend comes from. Everybody who reads this forbidden book, it can lead them down a path of insanity. We said earlier the original name of it was Al-Azif. Lovecraft said that was the original Arabic. Now, he goes on to say that the Necronomicon itself, which that is the Greek title for it, Lovecraft says that the book did not achieve this Greek title until it was translated from Arabic into Greek by this Theodorus guy that he made up in the year 950. So it wasn't until 950 that this book was translated into Greek and then actually became known as the Necronomicon, according to Lovecraft's history. And then you had some stuff that Lovecraft talks about. The book is prohibited in 1050 by the Patriarch of Constantinople. Hand copies of it were gathered together and burned. However, one copy escapes this fire, and over the intervening centuries, it's translated and it survives. And then in 1228, the Greek text is translated into Latin. Right? You hear in the Evil Dead movies, Necronomicon is always read in Latin. So according to Lovecraft, the Necronomicon was not translated into Latin until much later, in 1228. These translations, according to Lovecraft mythos, were suppressed by Pope Gregory the Ninth. then you still had some other Greek manuscripts going around. In 1500 and 1550, some more Latin manuscripts were printed, and then some were printed in Germany and through the 17th century. And then you had some that were printed in Spain. So this is kind of his little backstory of how the Necronomicon was handed down and translated into all of these other different languages. So you can see with the Necronomicon, Lovecraft is taking something he dreamed up. He's inserting it into history and having all of these historical people supposedly interact with it, translate it, ban the book, try to burn the book. And this is why for so long people thought that this was an actual document that existed outside of Lovecraft's writings. Now, we know now that there's no record of this book existing outside of Lovecraft's writing. We've talked about everything that has tried to present itself as the Necronomicon is just made up fiction of people trying to early on make a buck and get some money off of the idea of the Necronomicon, and people trying to find it and wonder if it's real or anything like that. But it does not exist outside of the writings of Lovecraft. The ones that do are just fictional and were written that way. When you get down into the real Lovecraftian lore, you find that there are only 2 manuscripts left existing by the time it rolls around to Lovecraft's day. Those exist in the British Library and the Library of Miskatonic University, the made-up university in Lovecraft's story. The one that William Randolph Hearst, excuse me, not William Randolph Hearst, Rudolph, what's the guy's name? I'm drawing a blank. The main character that Lovecraft has so involved with the Necronomicon. It's a 3-name word. I'm drawing a blank. I don't know where I came up with that. The millionaire from. But anyway, that's what comes down with this 2 things existing, coming together. The British Library and Miskatonic University are the only places now that the Necronomicon supposedly exist. And this is where we end in Lovecraft's writing. And you see people trying to access this Necronomicon. And it is found in a slew of his stories. There's too many of them to actually list and mention, but some of the famous ones are At the Mountains of Madness. It is mentioned in the Dreams, the Witch House. It is mentioned in the Call of Cthulhu, and I was thinking of Charles Dexter Ward. That's the name I was trying to come up with. It's mentioned in the story about Charles Dexter Ward is well the title of that one. I think it's called The Case of Charles Dexter Ward. So those are some of the stories that you can find the Necronomicon. And then, of course, his one that is entitled The History of the Necronomicon. So that is where we will end. That is the 9th gate. I'm done rambling, Bethany.
You will never let that go, will you?
No, I will not. Hey, National Park Princess, welcome. Glad that you are here with us.
I did react to the Twitter message. It was freaking creepy.
Yeah,
it was horrible.
He showed me that one earlier today.
I see people in chat are talking about mirrors.
Mirrors.
That's off topic.
Okay.
And then
Yeah, transparent illusion. Who knows what the Vatican has? They got so much stuff that
they probably don't even know what they
don't
have.
have. And so much stuff we will never know. The Vatican's always a fun thing to write about in stories. So much there, especially when it comes to documents and stuff like that. So yeah, and there's I see your comment, transparent illusion, about archaeology and stuff like, yeah, there's still stuff waiting to be dug up. Who knows what else we're gonna find? Who knows what else we will uncover? That's why archaeology is a fascinating field. Very fascinating. Bethany, we should start a dig in your backyard. I bet we find a bunch of burned grills.
You know what? You already dig up your backyard. You always say that you're looking for Sasquatch, Scat.
I do have a picture of a Bigfoot footprint.
No, it's a puddle. It's a puddle.
I'll have to put it on here. I think I may have done it on one of the earlier shows. I'll have to find it again. But for those who wonder why I said, I bet we found some burnt grills in Bethany's backyard, there's a reason that her nickname is Burn It Beth. Let's see that before and after picture of one of Bethany's grills. You ready, Bethany?
Okay, and I want to point out the food was not burned. Okay? Let me just say that. The food was cooked to perfection. That's all that matters. Just saying.
Yeah, if your idea of perfection is ashes, is your food cremated?
No. It's just that you cut your cook time literally by minutes when it's that hot.
More like milliseconds. Before Burn It Beth. Now, I warn you, this may be too intense for some of our viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. This looks like the aftermath of Chernobyl. Before. Look how pristine. Beautiful. And this poor gorilla did not know it was about to die and have a bad day. Look how happy it looks right now. He's so happy being taken out of the box. He's going to get to cook, but little does he know he is in the hands of Burn It Beth, and his life is about to be cut short. Now look at him. Look how sad he looks. All his glorious chrome is melted to oblivion. Look at the handle. Look at that beautiful handle.
Are you done? Okay, I mean, like, we got the point. And okay. I didn't burn the food, and it can happen to anybody. Give it a rest.
Yeah. Yeah, Dustin said it's not even a grill. Tell him what kind of grill that is.
That's a chimney.
Yeah.
It's how you start. You can start a charcoal grill with that. This way you're not using lighter fluid. I don't really like to use lighter fluid. It can taint the taste. And preemptively, shut up.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, she nuked it. Getting that charcoal ready. How many of those have you burned through?
Why are you turning this around on me?
I just want to know how many you've killed.
They don't last that long. I think maybe once a year. What?
Not with you.
Didn't ask your opinion.
That's why. It's Burn It Beth. PW said you're a good cook.
Thank you, PW.
Yeah, I don't think I have any pictures of all the dishes you made. I think we took those all off, so I have
because they're not true. I've never made them. You get people to believe that I really can't cook, and that's not true.
This is the only thing I have on there.
I didn't make that. I would never make that. That's just stupid and
tuna
sick.
ice cream you tried to feed me. Tuna in an ice cream cone. Dang it, Dustin! I keep forgetting I'm supposed to make that on the show and eat it one day.
You don't even like tuna.
I know. So why would you try to feed that to me?
I wouldn't. That's why I would never give you tuna. And I like a lot more Miracle Whip in my tuna than that. And I like it chunky. And I don't like it with celery. I prefer it with onion.
Well, then why would you feed me that?
I wouldn't feed that. And yeah, I wouldn't cook it with, for one, I don't like it that thin. And two, I don't like it with celery.
She scooped it in a cone and handed it to me.
And I like it with a lot more Miracle Whip. And I prefer it with Miracle Whip than I do mayonnaise.
So I'm going to recreate it on the show, but I keep forgetting to do it. Hopefully I can remember to do this, Dustin.
Uh-huh.
And we said, what was I going to put? Chocolate syrup and whipped cream and a cherry on top.
Okay. All right. Just stop.
Now, I'll have to make room to put all the other delicacies you've tried to feed me over the years.
Like what?
No, we got the donuts that were filled with barbecue beans.
I wouldn't do that.
Donuts you tried to feed me.
Yeah, Dustin said he did the Vienna. Yeah, that's right. He did do the Vienna sausage.
He did. We got to get a highlight reel together. Dustin did Bethany's party favorite.
I didn't make those.
We call them cat turds, and it's Vienna sausage dipped in chocolate with sprinkles. Except Dustin used cayenne pepper instead of sprinkles that Bethany usually uses.
I don't make this.
But for those of you who missed the show that we did for Thanksgiving, and I showed what Bethany made for Thanksgiving, y'all missed out. Like, we had she made a turkey that she marinated in Powerade. What else did we have on there that you had tried to cook?
Okay, I didn't cook that, and I don't know why anybody would think it would be tasty to cook a bird in Powerade.
The sardanas, too. She tried to feed me that.
I did not make sardanas.
Banana slices mixed with sardine heads. I got pictures of it all, folks. I'll have to put them back up there.
And I'm telling you now, as somebody who grew up really poor and often without food, even at that time, I still would have opted for something like ketchup on crackers before resorting to that.
Yeah, so why you try to feed me all this stuff?
I wouldn't eat that. I don't even know why somebody, well, I mean, no, I can't reason why.
Oh, transparent illusion. I'm definitely going to get the pictures and put them up here.
Ugh, gross.
I can't now. I got to go back and find them all because we can only have so many pictures on StreamYard that we can keep to upload. So I'm going to have to go delete some of my stuff on there and make some room. And we'll put them back up. You can see.
Isn't it about time for you to go make a ham and bologna peanut butter and onion sandwich?
No.
You do every night.
No, I just eat regular peanut butter. That's something you would try to feed me.
Yeah, I would on purpose now. Yes.
Yeah, see, she admits she does those.
Oh my gosh, no, just to annoy you. How come you can play and tease, and the minute I do it, gets turned around on me?
Well, because that's what I do. You can't win, Blondie. Now, for those of you who are new and you're wondering about our relationship, this picture sums it up perfectly.
Yep. Me choking you. You great value version of Otis.
But then there's also this. We do love each other.
Yep. I like that one because it looks like we're going to dance.
Yeah. It's a sweet one. Till she tries to feed me.
You make me watch stupid movies. I mean, like, to be fair, you make me watch some of the dumbest movies known to man. Ones that aren't even entertainingly bad. They're just boring or stupid. It was like the movie last night, and you were like, I thought you'd like it. And I'm like, this is like a darker, little bit more actiony version of License to Drive.
Yeah, it was awful.
It was.
Yeah.
The acting in some of them. I mean, just the toilet murder one. I mean...
Yeah. Let's see, Christina said that she knew you were my wife.
I know, yeah. Only a wife could love you and hate you at the same... Oh, yeah. Actually, yeah. There's a reason why...
Almost married. We still got to plan all that stuff out.
Yeah, but we're not in a hurry. I mean, because we have 7 kids between us, and, you know, when you blend families, it's like slowly cooking things together. It takes a little bit of time, get everybody.
Yeah, you can't nuke it like you do with stuff on the grill.
Yeah, actually, Christina, I still like License to Drive. It's not License to Drive. I still enjoy that movie. It just, the movie was more of a bad version of that. Just like imagine if a group of high schoolers saw the movie and then were like, let's recreate it, but make it more serious.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely awful.
Yeah.
I find all the worst possible movies that I can.
So bad. Like they would have put it on Mystery Science Theater. Bad.
Mm-hmm. Well, to be fair, I write reviews on a lot of these. I write for Mixed Alternative Magazine. I do a movie review called What the Hell Did I Just Watch? And it's all about awful B movies. The best one was Death Toilet. That movie was so bad. So bad.
Oh, God. And you guys have to understand. See, I have about 8 minutes. If I'm not in, I'm out. Okay, like I'm done. I'm bored. Let's move on. Zeke will stay in. I call him the codependent of movies. He will stay in way longer than he should have. Even him with Death Toilet was like, okay, even I'm ready to shut this off. And we were 15 minutes in. So what does that tell you?
So I don't ever shut movies off. I finish them. Now, there are movies that I have not made it through and I turn it off. That's how you know it's bad. For example, we tried to watch that movie Saltburn on Amazon because we saw people posting about how it was like so shocking and all this stuff. And I'm thinking like, okay, let's see what it's got, you know. Obviously, what is shocking for normal people is not shocking for a horror author. But that movie was just so boring. We ended up turning it off. Bethany had to like fast forward and see what the scenes were, if it was even worth.
And it wasn't. It was implication. It's like, well, that doesn't, like, I'm sorry, but I've seen worse on television shows. I've seen worse in movies, horror movies, legit horror movies. This was not shocking. It was boring. I told him exactly what was going to happen about 10 minutes in. Sure enough, I was right. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is what they were griping about?
Yep.
Very tame. And the thing is I'm comparing it to movies that, like, I'm thinking, like, oh my gosh, is this like Pink Flamingo, you know, where the actor ate the dog turd? Or what, the original Last House on the Left? You know, I'm thinking the extreme when movies were going through that weird time when they technically weren't going through the rating systems.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's gonna be like that. I'm gonna be like disgusted, like something I can't unsee. And then I saw it and I'm like, this was it. Well, these
Yeah.
people
Very
don't have. Yeah.
anticlimactic.
I mean,
Especially when you've seen stuff like a Serbian film and other extreme horror movies, Martyrs, The
Audition.
Inside, Audition. What's the other one I'm thinking of? The French one. High Tension.
Yeah.
So Christina said her friend does horror reviews, and by accident he watched Barbie and actually liked it. Oh, Bethany, we need to make you watch the Barbie movie.
Actually, it doesn't. I don't really want to, but I don't think I would hate it if I watched it. I think I'd be like, yeah, this is pretty good. And the thing is with Saltburn, I recommend it to someone who maybe doesn't have as intense taste as you and I. I mean, they might enjoy it. Myself personally, I didn't. And even from a film noir perspective, I wasn't surprised. But
yeah, Christina, there are some good actors in the Barbie movie.
And some of the messaging, yeah, I mean, and the scenes, dialogue is pretty interesting. I personally can't wait to see the Iron Claw.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have enough attention span to sit through in a movie theater.
Yep, I wanna see that one as well. When it comes out, we're gonna have to watch that one together.
Absolutely.
If you were a fan of wrestling in the 70s and 80s, and especially if you lived in the South, definitely Texas, and you were a fan of the Von Erichs, you're going to want to go see the Iron Claw. I know Bethany and I want to see it.
Well, my brother who is a bit older than me, he's Zeke's age. And he remembered the Von Erichs, but
calling me an old man.
Forget it. My gosh, you're as fragile as crystal. Okay, seriously, ladies in chat or anybody watching, tell me the man in your life is not as fragile as like the most delicate crystal. Just one word, it just shatters.
I just like picking on you.
Liar, you're as fragile as can be.
Look at the rant I got you on just by that.
Now I don't even remember what we were talking about. Thanks a lot.
Iron Claw. You were talking about your brother, Iron Claw.
I forget where I was going with it.
See, I even got you so flustered you forgot what you were saying.
Yes, PW, actually. Well, kids, yeah, they're designed to drive you crazy.
So
love them madly.
Iron Claw, PW.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Spitfire, welcome to the chat.
I'm trying to think if there are any movies. I know there was an Australian horror movie that I haven't seen on Netflix yet. And it's supposed to be coming out. Yeah.
Let me know. Let me know.
Will do. Will do.
Right. Well, okay. Everybody, we are about to go ahead and wrap it up for tonight. We will be back Thursday night for Immortal Shadows, and we are going through the book of Revelation, and we are on the 7 trumpets for that. So come tune in as I teach about the 7 trumpets and then play annoying trumpet sounds for Bethany.
Most lamest sounds in the world. I mean, like, again, this is supposed to be awesome. Trumpets can be loud and blaring and powerful. You both made it sound as wimpy as can be and lame.
That's what we do. That's what we do. We thrive ourselves on that kind of letdown.
You guys can't even try to be cool. Just ruin it.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
We pee on everything.
It wouldn't be
All
you
for
without.
you, Bethany.
Thank you. Gee, I'm so flattered.
Yeah, I mean, so if you ever have a jellyfish sting, you don't have to worry.
I think that would probably be the one time you wouldn't pee on it.
No, I wouldn't want to see you in pain.
That's not true. If that were true, you wouldn't pick the most annoying, the worst movies to have me suffer through. You lie.
The little boo-boo bear. She's so upset. She's so mad. I'll get a good one. I've been telling you, I've been in the mood to go back and watch some of the classics. So.
Like what?
I don't know. We'll pick something.
Okay, actually, no, we did watch, and this is something he and I do, is that in the winter, to me, the winter after Christmas, after the holidays, Yule, all of that, that's the time for action movies. We picked, the Ray Liotta one I want to finish. Come on, Something Escape.
No Escape.
I want to finish that one. That was good. And
all right, we'll finish that tonight.
And my favorite Patrick Swayze movie, Point Break, which I personally thought was better than Roadhouse.
Way better than Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Way better than Roadhouse. Yes, Christina, the trumpets are heavenly, and we've been talking about them on the show. We're going through the whole book of Revelation, and we're on the trumpets now. So we have been talking about those. They are very, very heavy. So we were on that last week. We will be on it again this week. So come join us for that. We like to transition back and forth here, especially on Thursday night. I do get really serious when I'm teaching through the Bible. It's not something that I take lightly. I am an ordained minister and was a pastor for 20 years, and I'm still very, very strong in my faith. So I get really serious when we do talk about that. But outside of that, I also like to, obviously, if you can't tell, we like to have fun and really joke around and use a lot of humor on this show. So, Christina said her mom's favorite movie is Dirty Dancing. Nobody puts baby in the corner. Oh yeah, Spitfire, Red Dawn.
Yeah, that's a good one. So is The Outsiders.
Ghost. Ghost was one I saw a long time ago, and I was surprised that when I saw it, I liked it. It wasn't bad.
I need to rewatch the one because I don't remember if I liked it or not. It was with Patrick Swayze and Randy Travis. They were truck drivers.
You're talking about what movie?
I don't remember the name of it.
I don't remember either.
Black Dog?
Maybe. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I don't remember if I like it or not.
I don't remember either. And then
there was another one. I can't remember the name of it either, but Patrick Swayze was in it. I think it was based in West Virginia, and he was getting revenge for his brother or something.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm so rusty on my Patrick Swayze movies. But yeah, Spitfire thinks it's Black Dog too. The one you're
Yeah.
talking
And I can't remember if it's good or not. I really can't. We should rewatch that.
Yeah. PW said The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. That's a
good one, yeah.
very good thriller. Suspense. Good one. I hadn't seen that since it first came out.
Yeah, but that movie is one where I remember so much of it, I haven't needed to rewatch it.
Yeah, and like some movies, it's like once you watch it and you get the big reveal, it's not as good the second time around because you know what's going to happen.
And Christina, you were talking about the movie To Wong Fu. Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar.
Yeah. I remember that one.
I wonder if Steel Dawn is the one I'm thinking of. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to go through while we're on this 80s and 90s action movie kick.
Yeah, again, it's just the winter. That's what I'm in the mood for. It's just 80s and 90s action.
So that's
more so than in summer. I don't know why.
Well, folks, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for tonight. Thank y'all all for hanging out with us and spending your Tuesday night here with the PPR family. We greatly appreciate the support and all the love, everybody participating and talking in chat. Thank you for listening to the teaching. Always hope that you learn something new each time on the show. And be sure to come back Thursday night as we do Immortal Shadows. And also just to remind everybody that if you want to, you can go on Godless and you can get Bitch Bear, Southern Discomfort, Season 2, Story 1. Bitch Bear, this is the one about a little girl who goes to the mall for her 10th birthday and makes a Build-A-Bear that comes to life and is bloodthirsty. This is the one that I was telling y'all is based off of Bethany's childhood. The little girl, if you want to know what Bethany was like, read the story. Right, Boo Bear?
Pretty much.
And it's based off of her teddy bear, Clark.
With scowls.
Yeah. I'll put the link in there again.
I love that you suck in the middle finger.
Yeah. Lisa Vasquez did that. She did the cover for that. I'll put the link in the chat. And all of Southern Discomfort Season 1 is all available on Godless. I also have my Johnny books on there. I've got my redneck trailer trash horror story, Night of the Blood Come, about a giant satanic sperm that comes to life, is on Godless as well. You can get pretty much everything, all the Southern Discomforts and Night of the Blood Come. All those stories are 50 cents each. Johnny Walker Ranger, Volume 1, I think, is only $1 on Godless, and Volume 2 is only like $2 on there. So lots of good discounted stuff for my writing that I have on Godless. So go check those out. But especially Bitch Bear. If you like haunted dolls, maniacal toys, you will get a kick. And just to see what Bethany was like as a kid. Like, that's the selling point. You're the selling point, Bethany. Y'all go read what she was like as a child, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
It was not typical, just so you all know.
Oh, Christina, yeah, they're all ebooks. Godless does only ebooks, so you buy it, and they will send you the digital copy of it. I do have books that are available on Amazon in paperback. That is my Dreadful Death series, which is a very terrifying series that is like a mix of The Exorcist, Hereditary, and Pan's Labyrinth. My Johnny books are also on Amazon in paperback. But everything on Godless is ebooks. But that's a wrap for tonight, folks. Stick around. We always like to play an inspirational video at the end of each show that Dustin has made for us. Bethany, do you have anything further?
Sweet dreams, everybody. Thanks for being here.
Yeah,
you all make it possible.
Thank y'all all for watching, and come back and join us Thursday night, 9 Eastern, 8 Central for Immortal Shadows. We'll see y'all then.
Is this what giving up feels like? I don't know, I don't know. Tell me, have I lost my mind? Nowhere to go, so far from home. Is this what giving up feels like? I don't know, I don't know. Tell me, have I lost my mind? So I'm